And today I want to talk to you about, okay, well, you got the mindset, you're ready to take that leap, but there's some things that I want you to consider. Once you're ready to start your business, right, you're kind of ready to go gung-ho and you're all about it, you're 100%, but then you start asking yourself, okay, well, what do I do next? How do I actually start? And that's kind of what I want to cover. So first things first, look at your competitors, okay? Whatever business you decide to start, right, you're going to be in a particular market. That market is going to have competitors, okay? And so what you want to do is put yourself in this mindset where you're harvesting information, okay? You're harvesting from your competitors. You're learning about them. You're understanding what they are selling, how they are selling it, right? And that's ultimately what you want to do. First is just study your competitors, because by studying your competitors, you're going to learn a lot about your market, your consumer. All right. It's kind of like, like let's say you were trying to, go through a jungle. Rather than you having to be the pathfinder, having to have the machete and cut down the entire forest in order to clear a path, paths have already been cleared for you. Right. So it's not like you're starting everything from scratch. In fact, learning from your competitors is one of the best things you can do when you're just starting out, because you can understand how things work. Okay, you can understand the process, the systems that are going into play, and that's vitally crucial to making sure that you start in the right direction. Okay, so when you're just starting out, before you start a business, take a look at your competition. Okay, see how they're doing things, how are they positioning things, what are they selling, how do they frame it, what are the testimonials, what are the reviews saying about them. All this kind of information allows you to get a bigger perspective in terms of, oh, you know what, I want to do it like this. Okay, because again, when you're just starting a business, right, and you're ready to take that leap, you're like, okay, well, how am I actually going to run my business? And the best way to minimize the mistakes that you're going to make, because you are going to make mistakes, we all do it, it's part of the process, is by studying those that have cleared the path already before you. Okay, now you might be saying, hey Oscar, well, I have this new idea, it's going to change the game. That's awesome. Right? So what you really have is a new opportunity, but that new opportunity is already presented, is going to be presented a market that has been there and established. Okay, so that's what you want to learn from your competitors, because again, you don't want to make the same mistakes. You also want to see what they're doing and figure out a way how you can differentiate yourself, because through differentiation, you create new opportunities, which lead to hope, which lead to more sales, ultimately. Okay, now, the other thing you're going to want to consider as well is understanding that you don't need all the bells and whistles right now. Okay, you don't need it. You're just starting out. What you need is a plan. Okay, how are you going to get your customers? How are you going to get a proof of concept? You don't need to have the best looking YouTube channel. You don't need to have the fanciest logo. You don't need to have the best looking website. In fact, anything from my experience can teach you is that what always looks better doesn't always perform better. Okay, especially when I run Facebook ads, the ugliest image tends to outperform the prettiest image. That's why stock images don't really work in advertisement. Okay, so you want to make sure that you stay focused and you prioritize what's important to you, especially in the beginning, because it's very easy to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm starting a business, I want this awesome looking logo, I want to have this awesome looking website, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and yet you still have not brought in money into the business. Okay, and so you might be saying, okay, Oscar, that's great, however, I got to have a presence. I want to make sure it looks professional. I hear you. I totally understand that, but it comes with time. Okay, and let me tell you that in terms of professionalism in your business, nothing's going to beat you actually getting results. Okay, and so when it comes to getting results, especially when you're just starting out in your business, you have to think about the strategy, which is the third thing I want to talk to you about today. Strategy. What is the strategy that you're going to implement into your business to, number one, approach cold traffic, right? So people that have never heard of you, have never interacted with you before, have no idea what you do or how you can help them, right? You need to understand, okay, there's this group of people out there. How are you going to reach out to them? And how are they going to begin to know, like, and trust you? Those are three important factors, because people only buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's why word of mouth marketing is so important, okay? So before you think about the fancy websites, the logos, and all that stuff, think about, okay, there's millions of people out there. Who do I actually want to work with? Because you don't want to work with everybody. All right. Sometimes maybe you're doing client work. Well, you definitely want to work with clients who can pay you, who can afford you, who can appreciate your value, right? That's the first priority. You probably don't want to work with people who see you as a commodity and are just willing to exchange you for the next one to come around, right? You don't necessarily want to be in that situation. So you have to ask yourself, okay, there's a big pool of people out there. Who do I actually want to work with? Great. Now, out of these people that I want to work with, how am I going to attract them? How am I going to bring them into the business? Okay, what can I offer them in order to begin to build that relationship? All right. So for example, me doing Facebook Lives, that's one example of reaching out and putting value out there in order to attract the right kind of people to me. In the same sense, maybe you don't do Facebook Lives. Maybe you do something else. Maybe you do live events. That might be a way. Maybe you do workshops in the local communities. You have to think about, where are my people? How can I get in front of them? How can I get my message there? But you have to strategize. And it's probably the biggest error that I see when I meet with entrepreneurs is that in the beginning, right, just when they're starting, they have this idea, I have this business, this is what I want to do. Awesome. Okay, but just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean necessarily that you can do it as well. Don't get me wrong. Like I said before, competitors are great. You can definitely learn and harvest a lot from them. However, they have processes and systems in place to get them to that business, right? So you have to spend some time and think about that. Think about that process. Think about that system. How are you going to take someone who has no idea who you are, start that relationship so that way they can begin to know, like, and trust you? Because in terms of generating a sale, that's all it really is just focusing and fostering that relationship into something that is beneficially, that benefits both of you all. Okay, it's mutually beneficial. Getting tongue-tied here. So again, to recap, right? The first thing you want to do when you're just starting out a business, before you even decide to, oh, you know what, I'm doing it, research your competitors. Okay, and then once you're done researching your competitors, understand that you don't need all the bells and whistles. Okay, what you really need is a simple website. Go to GoDaddy, get a domain for $11, install WordPress. It's free. Now you have a website. Awesome. Set up a PayPal account. Boom. Now you can start charging people, sending out invoices and all that kind of fun stuff. That's all you need. You got a phone? Boom. You literally, if you're watching this, you have the technology needed to start a business. You don't need anything else other than that. Okay? It's really that simple. Now, professionalism, logo, color schemes, all that, it comes with time. Okay, but at the end of the day, what really matters is making sure you have a strategy in place where you can provide the value to your marketplace in a way that they understand exactly how you can help them, exactly how you can benefit them. Okay, if you have that strategy down in your mind before you even decide to start a website, decide to open up business or anything like that, it's the 20% that's gonna drive 80% of the results. It's the strategy. It always comes down to the strategy. So focus on that 100%. All right. Now, if you like this video, if you found it at least remotely useful, please go ahead and share it with at least one other person you think needs to hear this, that it might help them out as well. It'll help me tons. And make sure you tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll be going over the 4 core principles in terms of actually taking that strategy that we talked about today and actually making it into a sales system where now you're actually collecting payments and making some money. So tune in tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.